John, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Yes.
Good. Good. I'm seeing a magnificent picture of the top half of your nose.
Right. About the
There
bottom
you
half.
go.
Wasn't it
Yeah,
better?
that's even better, yes. You look like a man who's about to go sailing.
I'm about to go gardening, in fact. I have a regular fight with the ivy, so
Oh, yes, that's never ending, isn't it?
it is, yes, in this house. Never mind.
Well, let's see if I can help you get going with your issues. Would you like to share your screen and show me what you've got or what the issue is?
I'm not sure how I share the screen.
Okay, so do you have Parish Online up and running on the
I
computer?
do, yes.
Okay, so down the bottom of your Zoom screen, there's a green button marked share in the middle. You probably need to move your mouse down there. And I'm assuming you're on a Windows computer.
Whoops, yeah.
If you move your mouse down to the bottom of the Zoom screen, there's a big
Yes.
green. And when that comes up, it'll show you or ask you what you want to share. And you can just show me the Parish Online tab.
Yeah, I'm trying to get that on the screen by reducing the size of the...
No, don't worry about that. The computer will give you the choice. If you click on that share button, oh, you've got a wonderful green.
Bottom right?
No. Oh, yes. If you've clicked the share button, then you've selected the Parish Online bit, then bottom right, share.
Yeah.
Not yet. So if you go back to your Zoom screen, John, Roger, sorry.
John is right.
I beg your pardon. So go back to the Zoom screen to the green button at the bottom.
Yeah.
And click on share.
I'm trying to get to that button because it doesn't want it.
It doesn't want it. Oh.
No, it's masked by my...
Oh, yeah. Can you push that out of the way? Your taskbar, is it?
Taskbar. Well, again, it doesn't want to move.
If you right click on the taskbar, I think it gives you the choice of moving it. It's a very long time since I used Windows. I've forgotten what you need to do, but I think there's a choice of hiding it or moving it elsewhere. Usually you can just pick it up and move it, say, to the side.
Let's give that a try.
So just left click on it and move it to one side or the other, or even the top. No, the top's a bad idea, not the top.
No, it doesn't want to move.
And it doesn't give you the choice to shrink it. Small icons, sometimes it says.
Talks about, look at what it says about toolbars. No.
If you go down to that toolbar and right click on it, what choices does it give you?
It says toolbars, cascade windows, show windows stacked, show windows side by side, show the desktop, start task manager. Talks about locking the toolbar. Ah, right, I've unlocked it.
Excellent, good. So now you can do the share.
Yep.
And then you click on the window with your Parish Online in it, and then click the share button bottom right. That's it. Good.
You can see my screen there. Then obviously
It's about to come up. Hasn't come up yet. There it is. Now I can see it. Yes.
Good. Fine.
Yep. So I see those bits of green up at the top, which you've obviously done.
Yes, I managed to do that last night, the first time. So I managed to show the color I wanted and the border color and the border width.
Brilliant. Good.
Well, that was lucky. I'm not quite sure how I did it.
Well, we can go over that if you like. But are there other things that are giving you puzzlement?
Well, basically, as you know, I'm trying to produce 17 green spaces. And I managed to print out one of those. I'm not sure if you received it. It was basically this green one.
Right.
on a PDF.
Right.
So I've done that. And the main aim then is to produce 17 PDFs
Okay.
of these green spaces.
Yes. And you've done 2 of the green spaces so far?
Partly. I think there are follow-up questions. If I wanted to label a green space, even with a number, I'm not sure if that's feasible.
Oh, yes, very much so.
That would be a help.
Okay, so just click on either one of those green spaces, left click, and go left to the left column where it says green spaces.
Yeah.
Click on that. And now you're in the where you could edit this if you wanted to. So if you wanted to change the shape or anything, you can do it here by clicking on the blue pencil. All right.
Uh-huh.
So that's how you would make changes to the shape or the name of it. I was just making sure that you're familiar with that. To put labels on it, you need to go into something called style. So if you close this feature by clicking on the X at the top of the column, go down to the green spaces and right click in that layer, just right click and select style. Perfect. Okay, so in the left-hand column where it says style options, there's a field called label column, which is what would you like the label to be. So you can say, if there's a name, you can say it's the name or the description, or did you just want it to be a number?
Well, that's the simplest. I can experiment with this, presumably, can't I, to see?
Absolutely, yes. So I would go for description or the name. The name probably is the better one if it's got a name. So just select name. Yeah, just click on that once. Then go to the middle column, the one that says labels. And there you can choose the size of the label and the color, and whether it's got what's called a halo, which is a nice way of attracting it. If you go over to the right-hand column where it says preview, it shows you what you're going to see. And since there doesn't, oh, yeah, a second, let me just move you a bit.
Yes, I'm covering that, huh? That's
yes,
better.
So not any longer.
No.
At least for me. So you can see it's going to save name there. If that's what you wanted to say, then you can just select save. But if you want to change the color of the name or the increase the halo around it, this is where you do it here in this style page. Do you want to see what that looks like first?
Well, I don't want the word name, do I?
No. What it's saying is it's using the field name there.
No.
When you go back to the map, it'll actually put in the name that you've allocated to that space.
How do I do that allocation then?
Well, go back to save, John. So click on save and go back to the maps. Okay, so you called it the green, and now it's got the name green on both of them. So if you'd say, give them a different name, click on either one of them just once. Yeah.
Left click.
Yeah, indeed, yes. Go back up into your left column, the green spaces one. And you can change the name to whatever you like by clicking on the pencil.
Right, I ought to make a note of these steps because having done them twice, I'm likely to forget them.
Well, I'm making a copy of this on a video. I'll send you the video afterwards if that would help.
I think it would.
Okay, so
what's
now rather than just
green?
call that the green, would you like to call it something a bit more sort of memorable or descriptive of that place?
It's just an extension of the green, really.
So how about so the one on the left is the only one that's going to be called the green. The others will have different names?
They will.
Okay, so then why don't it just call this the green extension?
Yeah, so can I put that in?
Yes, just where it says, yeah, right there. Just type in extension. And if you now save, it'll come up and say so.
Yeah.
There you go.
Fine. I notice it's a blue border.
Only because you've got it highlighted. It's showing you that's the one you're working on. As soon as you close the left-hand column, it'll go back to a black border.
Right.
There you go.
Fine, okay.
Now, I think we can show you a way of really speeding up the way that you select these areas. So would you like to go and find the next one that's going to become a green space?
Yes, I've got something called Jubilee.
Okay, so that's very appropriate.
Yeah, Jubilee Walk. I can locate that.
I see it there. It's just down in the middle of the screen now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, Jubilee Walk, right in the middle. Whoops,
So
you've gone
Jubilee Walk and that green area to the left of it.
right. They're all to be part of the new green.
That will be a green space, just called Jubilee Walk, really.
Excellent, couldn't be better. So if you go back to your left-hand column where it says green spaces, do a right click in there.
Just a point, I've already set up Jubilee Walk.
Oh,
See?
yes, I do see that, but that's not
the point.
that's
Right?
not the way it works. No, the way to make it work is you have all of your green spaces in one layer, which you call green spaces. And then you add them all as features within that one layer, because you don't want a layer per green space particularly, do you?
Well, I wasn't sure how to do it, really. That's
No,
why
okay.
I set them up. Yes.
Okay, so you've created a layer called green spaces, and that will contain all the 17 green spaces that you're going to select. Okay, so do a right click there in green spaces and select add feature. And now it's going to say, so where is this new feature? And you can outline Jubilee Walk. And if you move your cursor to say the top left corner.
I'm going to draw around it, presumably, aren't I?
Yes, you are. So you click once to start it, and then it'll follow your mouse. And each time you want to change direction. And in this mode, John, I suggest you do what I call quick and dirty. Don't be too precise, because we can make it much more precise later. This is good. You got the hang of this. Okay, when you get to the end, double click. Yeah, that's good. Now you need to move to the left-hand side and give it a name.
Well, I'll stick to Jubilee Walk.
Yeah, perfect. And if you bother with a description, now will be the time to put it in, but it doesn't need one really, does it? It's self-explanatory.
No, I can't do it at the moment, but I can copy the text, which we're going to use to describe it.
Oh, splendid. Okay.
But I need to get into Word to do that. I can probably do that later.
As you wish, or you can do it now, whichever you like.
Well, to get to Word.
Well, you just need to go down to your bottom layer and select Word. Do you have it in your taskbar?
Yeah, I can see it now. Right, it's slowly coming up. Right. Right, this should be a chart of all our proposed green spaces.
Okay. It's taking its time opening up, isn't it?
That's all right. If I copy that.
Ah, I see. All I'm seeing, okay, you can just put it in. Perfect. All right, good. Location, if you want to put it in, is presumably Jubilee Walk, or you might want to put a postcode in there, whichever.
At the moment, I think that's fine.
Okay. So, and the date you don't want to bother with?
I don't think that's relevant at the moment, no.
Okay.
All
So
these
what we're
things can
going
be
to
added
do now,
later.
John, what we're going to do now is save it to make sure we've got it captured.
Right.
And then click on the X at the top of the feature editor, because we're not going to add another just yet.
Right.
And now click on the Jubilee Walk green space itself, the one in black. That's right. So that will just bring up the record. Now go to green spaces on the left. And click on the pencil to edit. And now if you zoom in a little on the plus sign, or with your mouse, whichever you like to do. Zoom in quite a lot, because what we're going to do is we're going to make the shape fit the map much better. And it's much easier to do that if you're zoomed in to a much larger scale. So if you can click on, there you go. Yep, good. And now you can just pick up the edges and match them to the map. But very easily. Yes, go to the corner and move the corner up. There you go. Good.
Yes, not an awful lot of work that needs to be done there.
No, you're pretty precise in your
tidy.
First go. Absolutely. Yes, I'd say that's fine.
Well, I can just move this across a little bit. I'm not sure how I got here, you see. After we finish speaking, I'll...
Oh, well, you went into edit mode. And then we increased the scale so that it's much easier to do when you're on a large scale. There we go. Yeah. That's very precise. So now save that, bottom left, and you're done.
Right.
So that's Jubilee Walk. We can do the next one now.
Right. Now I've got one which is made up of several pieces.
Okay. So you can click on the X at the top of the left column to close it.
The X.
The left-hand column, yes, just close it.
Ah, right.
Good. Right. And now we're going to find your next green space.
Right, it'll take a moment for it to come up.
Yeah, that's fine.
Now, it's there, more or less central.
All those bits, yeah.
Those bits. Now, do I make them one large green space or separate small?
Well, that's entirely up to you.
Right.
When you're showing this to people, I imagine it's going to be more effective if you make it all one big green space, but it's entirely up to you. We can certainly do all of the bits that are there at the moment, if you like.
I think it's probably, as you say, better to make it one complete green space, because the whole thing will be proposed as a specific local green space.
Exactly. So this is what we're going to do now is add a new feature. So you're going to the left-hand column, green spaces, right-click, and add feature. New. Yeah. And then go to the top corner of any part of the new area and start drawing it in. And again, just do it quick and dirty for the moment. And we'll tidy it up later. Yeah, you're very good at this. Yes, very good. You're as neat on your first run through as I am after 6 or 7 goes.
There we are. Good.
Yep. So go to the left and give it a name.
Yes, this is...
is this Deer Park Green or?
And Shawley.
Okay.
That defines the...
green space.
I'll call it Shawley Road.
Okay.
And
again, does that need a separate description or?
Well, I could. Let me go back to Word.
Yeah. Just pick up the green space for that one.
Yeah, I've got 77 of these little areas, which we had to run down to 17. That's why this large chart is there.
Yes, well, how lovely that you have so many choices.
Yes, most of them were ruled out. I'm not having much luck. Finding a decent description, unfortunately. Give me a moment.
No problem.
I'm getting close. Let's leave that as it is. No, I seem to have lost. There we are.
Very good. So save that. And I think that's pretty precise. I wouldn't bother changing that unless you want to. We're
Well,
ready
yeah,
to we're
I
ready to
can't
move
remember how I
on.
did it. That's what is going to be the problem after we finished our session, knowing exactly what steps we took.
Well, if have you got the copies of the training classes that we run? Because there are guides in each of those that tells you how to do each step.
Uh-huh.
I can't remember how many of the courses you've been to. I know you've been at least to one.
I think we have one together, yes.
Yes.
Well, is it worth just running through the steps that I can write down?
Well, I think I've got an even better solution for you for that. You're doing two things. You're adding a feature and you're changing the style. So if we just move you up on your mouse to the top right corner where there's this little cogwheel,
Yeah.
click on the cogwheel and click and select help and support. And now go into where it says knowledge base. Yeah, that's good. And just type in add feature, if you like. In the search bar at the top, it says search articles. Just type in add feature. And see where it says add, edit, and delete map objects, the first choice. That tells you exactly how to do what we've just done. So if you click on that, but you might want to write down, this is how we got there. And there's a video that tells you how to do it, which is actually a very good video, but there's also every step you need to take listed underneath.
Yes, the problems with some of the videos is they do something simple and then go into a great deal of detail, which is not relevant. I've used this one before.
Okay, well, I'm very happy to go through each individual step with you if you prefer that. But
Well,
if you go,
it only take a moment.
Sure.
And then at least I've got something to base it on. I do need to write these steps down till I'm familiar.
Okay.
The problem I had in January, I managed to do things, and since then I've been using other tools, and obviously it's slipped out of my mind.
Yes, it gets, I know, I'm afraid Parish Online really does benefit from more frequent use.
Yes, well, there are so many options.
I know.
You can stare blankly at a screen with scores of options and not knowing where to go.
Yes. All right, let's go back to the map then, to XMap, and you can just click on the tab at the top, the one that says XMap at the top, all the way at the top, up, further, there. Yeah, that's it. So should we go through the steps for you to write down?
Yes, the steps to create that space. What did we actually do?
Well, first of all, you selected the parish layer that you've created called green spaces.
Right.
So that's the layer onto which all of these green spaces are going to be added. Right. And then for each new space, you do a right click in that green spaces layer and select add feature.
Yeah. Okay.
Then you go to where the map is and draw the feature, which you certainly got the hang of doing that.
Yeah.
And then in the left-hand column, which comes up automatically, you have to fill in the name, which is a red box.
Yeah.
And then you click on save, or put in a description if you want to, but you click on save.
Right.
Now, John, if the save button is grayed out, if you can't click on it, it's because you either haven't put the name in or you haven't drawn anything on the map yet. So those are the two things you have to fulfill. Is you do have to outline a space on the map and you do have to put a name in. Right. And then you'll be able to save.
Okay.
So having saved, then the easiest thing to do is to close the feature editor, which is the left-hand column, by clicking on the X at the top.
Yeah.
And the reason that we do that is so that you can then click on the green space you've just created and bring up its record in edit mode. So by clicking on the green space, you bring up the data record in the left-hand column. And by clicking on the pencil, you can then make edits to anything in the fields, or you can change the shape to be more precise if for any reason you haven't got it perfect the first time.
Right, so
The
that
way you're doing it, you're pretty good at getting it right the first time.
that changing the shape is feasible once you've got into edit mode then?
Yes, absolutely.
Right, okay.
Yeah. And then the only other thing that you really need to remember that we've done is that back in that green spaces layer, when you're in the list of columns on the left-hand side, the list of layers, if you do a right click and you select style, then that's where we set up the labels, and you can change the colors and do all sorts of things if you want.
So how do I get from where I am now then?
So close the feature editor on the left, go into green spaces layer.
Right. Right.
And right click and select style.
Yes, I got there by accident, I think.
Well, it worked fine.
Yeah. Well, that was a right click, was it, to get to?
Yes, to get the mini menu comes up when you right click anywhere in that layer.
And that gives me the style.
Correct.
Yeah. Fine.
Then in the style, all we did was select the name. If you go into style now, you'll see that what we did was we selected name as the label column in the left-hand side, in the left column called style options.
Yeah.
We selected name as the label column. And that's all we did. We didn't do anything else.
Right. Name or description. Right.
Yes, but just name is the one that's going to show up.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. I can amend the labels then.
Yes, you can change the size, you can change the color. I like halo is fun. If you turn the halo on, just click there and select a color. Any color would do, nice bright yellow or something, just so that you can see the effect. And save down the bottom right. Yep. And then just for fun, you increase the halo size to about 10. And you can see what's happening in the preview on the right-hand side. You see how you've now put a yellow halo around the word name.
Yeah, I see. Very clever.
And it's just neat. And you don't have to do it, but it looks fun. And when you got it the size and shape that you want it, click save on the right-hand side.
Yeah. And to get rid of halo then?
Just turn it back down to 0.
Right, that's useful to know as well.
Yeah, and you can remove make the color blank or white if you prefer.
Okay. Good. Well, as long as I can repeat that later this morning, that's fine.
Yes,
I mean,
you notice, just stop there, John. You notice that you've turned off the green spaces layer, so we don't see that one we've just created. If you go to the left-hand column and click there once, yeah, and turns it on. There we go. I would go down to Jubilee Walk and delete, and yes, get rid of that one. So in the columns on the left-hand side,
go to Jubilee Walk. Yes, I'm going there.
No, I didn't mean, I'm sorry. In the left-hand side, the listed columns, you've got one called Jubilee Walk.
Oh, yes.
You turn that one off. We don't want that.
How do I get rid of that then?
Well, okay, you're going to go back up to that little cogwheel, the top right-hand side of your screen.
I remember doing a delete at some point.
Yeah, that's right. So click on administration. And you're going to wait for the layers to show up. They just will pop up there in a second. Just give them a little bit of time. There we go. Click on Jubilee Walk and delete it. Dustbin, top right. Well, not that far right, sorry. The top right of the middle column.
Yes, I'm with you. I have used this before. You have to type in the word delete, don't you?
That's right, because they really don't want you to lose it accidentally.
Will it take lower? Oops.
Well, no, it needs to be up.
Hold on.
It needs to be uppercase.
Okay,
They're very precise here.
that's that.
Good.
And the same with Bramble End and Monk's Way then. I can
Absolutely, yes. What? Yeah, you.
I'm at it.
If you have you already outlined those, John?
I had on their layers, yes.
Well, we can copy them across to the green spaces layer and save us doing it again. So,
Well, it won't be a big effort.
okay, so just
simple,
delete it then whilst we're here.
yeah. Tidying up's probably the order of the day.
Good.
Fine.
So would you
that's an
like to add,
important lesson, yeah.
why don't you try adding a new one completely all on your own and we'll see how you do. Would that be good?
Yeah.
Okay, so you go back to the maps by going up to the top right corner and selecting the middle icon, the what looks like a map, yes, or a globe. So here you are, you're back as if you've done a fresh start at the beginning of the day.
Right.
So you've turned on the layer, that's good. So now you're looking for the next place.
And there it is, coming up. Takes a while for it to
Yes, next time you're talking to your counsellor, you can ask them to invest in a newer and faster computer for you.
this is my 14-year-old Windows 7 machine, I'm afraid.
Well, no, that's if that's what you've got, that's what we work with. But
yeah. So that's the area. Now, what am I supposed to do? Add feature.
Well done, good. So
yeah, see, I'm stuck here now. How do I get?
Well, or you can always shut this down by just clicking on the X at the top. That's what it's there for. It'll take you back to somewhere you recognize. Good. Perfect. All right. This is good news.
Oh.
Okay, full steam ahead now.
Well, oh yes, it's all right. We'll come across like that. This is a fairly easy,
straightforward shape, this one.
Right. So I need to give it a name.
Correct.
Which one is this?
Aha, thinking caps on.
Right. Yeah. I should have a list of this. So this is oh yes, number 2. Bramble End in green.
Perfect.
Right. There's so many reference numbers, I can't hold them all in my head at the same time, I'm afraid. Here we are.
I'm afraid I find that holding anything in my head nowadays is rather tricky.
Well, I find it doesn't last long anyway. Right. So.
This is Bramble End in green or something, wasn't it? Yes.
Oh yes, I managed to get my case messed up. It's very frustrating, this.
I know.
What did I call it? Bramble End and Monk's Way. At least that's consistent.
Good.
And save it now.
Indeed.
Right.
And it doesn't look like it needs any further work. So I would just say you're done, move on to the next one.
Oh, right.
Now, John, there is a piece of news here, which is a time saver for you. So the system assumes that having put in one, you're going to want to put in another. So that left-hand column is all set for the next new record. So all you need to do now is move the map to where the next green space is and draw it in, because you're already in edit mode.
Right. Yes, when I did my homework, I don't know if I included any others, but I'm sure I can find something. Right, Gidding Road. Will come up in a moment. I'll get the scale right.
You can get the system to find it for you just by typing
it
the
started
address
to
in.
draw something which I didn't expect. That green, can you see? It's got a line.
Yes, because unfortunately you clicked back on the base. You know, the best thing to do is just click on the feature editor at the top left, the X, just close the feature editor down. And then that gets rid of it. There you go.
Ah, right. That would have caused me a bit of frustration.
Well, we've saved you the frustration now.
Yeah,
Just
so
out of interest, if you know the name of the place you're going to, type it into the big white space at the top right corner. So did you say it was Greenfield Road or something?
This one, Gidding Road, yes.
Gidding Road, okay. So if you type that in.
Well, that's interesting. It's quite a long road.
Right, so you've got a whole bunch of choices there that involve Gidding Road.
Yeah.
And then just by clicking on any one of them will jump you to the right area of the map, that's all.
Yeah, it's useful. It's got postcodes. Unfortunately not.
No, okay. That's a nice try.
I think just dragging it around may have been the answer. So it's pushed me out to Little Gidding, another village now.
Right, well in that case, I'm sorry we got the wrong Gidding. You probably wanted the one that was in Saltry, didn't you?
Very much so. There we are. I'll get it.
There you go.
There we are.
Oh, there's Gidding Road. Okay, clear enough. You just have to give it a bit of time, John. It'll catch up with you and focus. There we go. The focus is much better now.
Good. So I'm in green spaces. I'm going to add a feature. This is tricky because there's an attenuation pond.
Okay.
And a footpath.
Yeah.
And the crafty developers are probably trying to pinch a bit of land they're not supposed to have.
I'm sure that's true, yes.
Well, I'll get back to the planning application and just see exactly what
they're applying for. Yeah.
they're trying to do to shift the boundaries.
So that's good move. Give it a name now.
Yeah, that was the step. I missed out, of course. Somewhere there should be a description.
Okay.
Number 7, yeah. All right. And so we'll save that. And there we have it.
Yes, absolutely. And then if you're happy with the shape, we move on to the next one.
Right,
but if you
just let me edit this then while I've got it.
Oh, okay.
Feature editor I've got.
No, you need to close it down.
Yep.
Yes. Good.
And do I right click on that?
No, whoa. No, you want to edit the one that's there. So you go to do that by clicking in the green space.
Ah,
and you bring up the record on the left side. There you go. Good.
Is that a right click? No.
Yes, no, it's left click. There you go. And then you can just click on your pencil. And then again, it helps if you scroll in to zoom in a little to get the scale so you can see the edges more clearly.
I was trying to pull that down, but it doesn't want to move.
Oh, well, you give it time.
Oh. Well, I may have to change it once I've got the planning application.
Yes, I suggest it's leave it as it is until, I imagine if you're going to challenge what they've got, you need to be very precise on this map.
Yeah.
So when you know what they want to do, you can come back and tidy this up.
Yes, well, they put it up to the path, and I think they may be pushing their luck, as it were. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, the big lesson, of course, is I put everything in one layer, whereas before I was creating separate layers.
Yes, yes.
Presumably, though, if I want to print, say this area I've got here.
Well, let's just do that, John. So click on print. And the square comes up and shows you what it's going to include. So you need to zoom out a little if you want to see the whole thing. The other zoom out.
I thought
There we go. So that's that one. Oops.
Sorry, I'm just fiddling a bit.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I've got a bit of the other one now.
Would you rather not? In which case, just push the whole thing up to the right. Well,
yes, but that brings all this.
Well, you can sort of pull it down. If you scroll slightly up. Yeah, it was difficult to get rid of it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why having one per layer would have avoided that problem.
Oh, well, you can do a filter, John. So if you go back to come out of print mode for the moment, just click on the, yeah, good. Go back to the green spaces and right click and go down to the bottom where it says filter. And then in the filter column, select name. In the operator, select contains. And in the filter value, put Gidding Road, or just Gidding. Gidding is fine. And then save that. And now it only shows Gidding Road because you filtered everything else out.
Yeah, that's very good. I need to make sure I got those steps.
Yeah, well, that's fine. So again, from the parish layer called green spaces, right click anywhere in that layer, select the filter option, and then you choose your filtering to match what you're looking for. And if you look at your map now, you'll see that there is a filter funnel there.
Yes, quite.
Show you it's in effect.
Right, but I can.
So I would then, now that you've got it as you wanted, I would now print that out.
And then I can remove the filter later.
Exactly.
Because
yes.
Presumably it's filtered everything else out as well.
Everything in that layer, the filter only applies to the layer that you've selected.
Yeah.
But yes, anything that doesn't have a Gidding in it will not be shown.
Right, so I've got print.
So if you're happy with that, if you want to show, there we go. Yes, that's perfect, isn't it? Good. Now, if you click down on the left-hand side, the left-hand column, you can put in things like a title and description. You might say Gidding Road, green space.
Yes, I think I called it by a number which would correspond to.
Yeah, to something on the agenda, whatever, or the minutes. Yes, by all means.
Number.
Good idea.
And then I can put
Gidding Road in the description, yes.
I can save that. Oh no, I'm ready to print that, presumably, aren't I?
Absolutely,
Now, I
yes.
would like a north arrow.
Okay.
Is there anything else that would be useful?
I don't think so. The legend is pretty obvious that what the green bit is, so I would just print it.
Right.
So just wait a few seconds. Now click on that little box with the right arrow in it.
I want to file it.
Yes.
Don't I, at this point,
Yes.
rather than actually printing.
Yep. So just wait for it to pop up. There we go. And so now you can see basically what you're going to be able to show to anybody else that you wanted to.
Yeah, of course, I'd like to make that text larger.
Right. So let's go ahead and do that.
But I can't do that from here, presumably. It's too late now, isn't it?
Correct. But yeah, but you can always repeat this process very quickly. Let's do that, John, because it's clear that you need to remember how to do that. So
yeah,
how would you change that to be larger text?
No, yes, I need to go back to, I need to get out of this then, or save it.
Yes, well, I wouldn't bother saving it because we're going to recreate it in a second or two.
Right.
I would just cancel it.
So cancel.
So you cancel it by going all the way to the top. Yeah, and just cancel the, yeah, that's good.
Right.
Good. Come out of there, go back to your map. Just click on the X at the top of the pin column on the left. Yeah. And come out of there.
Back to green spaces.
Yes, good. Now what you're going to do is change the label. So that's the style. So if you right click, style, and then you're just going to change the text size of the label. So you're at 12 at the moment. Maybe you'd like, say, 20.
That's a good number.
And then you can see on the right how big it's going to be, which I think is pretty good. Give that a try. I mean, this is a sort of a reiterative process.
Yeah.
And for some reason, you turned the layers turned off. So turn it back on. There you go.
Hold on.
Yep, you can take that.
Bear with me a moment.
Okay.
Hello, it's John Potter. Oh, hello. I am in the middle of a tutorial at the moment. Can I ring you back in a little while, or is it a quickie? Right. Okay. I think so. Just bear with me. That's Thursday, isn't it? Yes, the beacon lighting's not till later. So Thursday then? Oh, I'm sorry. Is there anything we can help with? I'll be around if you want to call anyway. Oh, okay. Yep. Thanks for the call. Bye, no Pat. Bye. Sorry, a troubled neighbour.
Always the case with busy people. I'm a bit surprised that the labels have disappeared.
Yes, so am I. What have I done?
Can we go back to the style and see? There. I think may just be a function of the size. Can we just cancel out of there, John? Go back to where you were and either zoom in or zoom out on the map. So just cancel out of there. Bottom right.
Oh, I see. Right.
And can you change the scale? Either zoom in or zoom out. Either way, I think probably zoom out.
That means making it larger.
Well, no, make it smaller. Click on the minus button or move your mouse wheel back, whichever you use.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
It's all right.
We're out of sync with our. Well, there it is.
There, yeah. Well, it's okay. So the labels disappear when you get closer in. As you zoom out, the labels come back on again.
I'm
No,
trying to-
if you zoom out, John,
Why, that means making it smaller,
yes, just click on the minus sign is easy.
right?
I think one more step. And then we just need to wait for the system to catch up. It hasn't got the names. Isn't that weird? All right, well, we're going to have to force the labels. So we can go back to style. So, yep, go back to style. So see at the bottom of the left-hand column where it says force labels.
Yeah,
What we're doing then is telling it we do want the labels to appear no matter what the map thinks. So just save that and see what it does. Look, that's perfect. And the reason that the system turned it off was because we made the letters so large that it thought they would block off everything else.
well, it has, looking at the
Yeah,
rest.
but it'll make sense as soon as we filter out all the others. So this is just for the purpose of printing, right? So let's now try your printing again. If you do a right click and filter out everything except Gidding. No, sorry, you've gone a step too far. Go back to where you were, click on the X at the top of the print. And then in green spaces there, right click and filter. Yeah, and then just filter for Gidding Road only.
Filter column.
Yeah, name, yes, you want name. Then the operator is contains,
Oh,
and the value is Gidding.
yes, that's filter. Contains.
That's
Oh.
good. And now you can blow that up to exactly, put the print on and then fill it to the right size. Good. So you can zoom in a bit, make it bigger.
Slightly wrong.
Yeah, well, it's just a matter of moving things around.
Well, no, I need to change the text again for some reason. I didn't think I typed Gidding Step.
No, the original name that we gave it was Gidding Step West.
Ah,
Is that not the name you want for it?
I'd like to change that. No.
Okay, well, that's fine. So come back out of print.
Yeah.
And just click anywhere on the Gidding Step green space to bring up the data record. That's right, click it there. Now go into green spaces, left-hand side. Yep. And click on the pencil button to edit it. And now you can change the name.
Fine, save that.
Yeah, good. That's fine.
Go back to print, can I?
Yes, indeed. And then is that the right scale or do you want to make it, yeah, bigger? Okay. Now just go ahead and print.
Center it.
Very good. Yep.
Yes, all the other data is the same. LGS4.
Yeah, I think that looks very good. So if you're happy with that, then let's go ahead and print it.
I thought I'd press the print.
Well, print button, no, down the bottom left, John.
Ah, that's two prints, right.
Yes, the one is the menu to select it. The bottom one is the one that activates it. Now you can click on the little square with the right arrow. Perfect. That looks pretty good to me.
Yeah. Is there any more information I could include on that print, though?
Well, what would you like to put?
Well, it says the main things.
The descriptions or?
The reference number and the location.
Well, you've got those in the top left corner.
Yeah, exactly. It's got a scale, hasn't it?
Yeah. So I think it's pretty precise.
No, it's looking good. So I
And we can always change it later. There's nothing fixed in stone about this.
No.
So if you want to save that now, you would click on the download button.
Yeah, I've done that. I'm just waiting.
Okay, good.
Responding.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then it will go into the neighborhood plan.
Perfect.
And then I've got LGS 1 already, and there's LGS 4. I better not put a space in. It's an Acrobat, fine.
Very good.
Yeah. And then I go back to where I started.
Correct.
I'm going to have some problems to get rid of that filter, aren't I?
Indeed, yes. So, and you may feel that you only want the text size that huge for the printing. So you can go back to style and reduce the text size if you wish to, because when you look at Sorcery as a whole now, with all of the green space layer turned on, because you've turned the filter off, then it's going to get very bluntly the text will be too large, I think.
Not quite.
So we can just adjust that.
Yeah.
So close the layer on the column on the left. Yeah, go down into the right click. Yes, and you can remove the filter. Good. And then right click again in the same place and go into style. And just change the size of the text back down to 12.
Right.
Perfect. Okay, that's it.
Good.
And always assuming that you feel, and we, of course, we've forced the labels to be on now, which you may wish to leave on or turn off. Entirely up to you.
Overlap, aren't they? I mean,
Well, that's why you turn off the forced labels thing, so that they don't overlap.
Right.
Out of interest, John, you can go back to that labels page with style, and you can displace the labels. So instead of being in the center, they can move down to, say, the bottom right corner or something, which gets the writing out of the way of the ones that are close to each other.
Okay. But I need to stop the forced labels somewhere, don't I?
You need to stop the, yes. So again, go back to style. Nearly everything that we're doing today is in style.
Right.
So right click, style, and turn off the forced labels. And that font you've got is Arial bold. I think that looks very black on the map. So if you just choose the font in the second column called labels, where it says Arial bold, I would just go for regular Arial.
We've got several Arials there.
Oh, well, Arial black is fine. Yeah. It's still very bold, isn't it? But
it is very heavy, certainly.
so when you, yes. Or maybe Arial black is not the right one either. Is there just plain Arial? I don't think that looks too bad, to tell you the truth.
No,
because you want it to stand out a little bit.
Quite reasonable. Yeah, quite.
Yeah. I think that's all right, but
there's a choice of font somewhere, is there?
Exactly. Yes. If you
I was looking at Calibri, but it doesn't seem to offer that. Hasn't got all the true types, has it?
No, it's a shame, isn't it?
Well, it doesn't matter. Arial narrow.
Maybe yes, Arial narrow is a good one. Yes, that looks a lot better in the preview in the top right. Look a lot there. That's, I quite like that.
Good, and that will be repeated. What I'm seeing actually on this screen is the green, and then behind it in much larger text is something called the green.
Yes, there's nothing you can do about that. That's on the Ordnance Surveys.
That's fine.
That's their name for this particular patch of ground.
Fine.
And we have no control over what they put on the map. It's like trying to remove High Street. You can't remove High Street. It's theirs.
So I could move my text or enlarge it.
Yes, you could. So we can try that. You can go into Style. And down the bottom left, it says Displace Labels.
Oh,
So now save that, and you can just go and see the effect. It hasn't, hasn't done a thing. Okay, I think it only displaces the labels that are overlapping each other.
right.
Sorry, it didn't have quite the effect I hoped it would have.
It's one of those things.
Yes,
So I want to take out the displace labels then,
yes, I would.
where it was.
Yep. So
Perhaps
just
a
say,
little bit of halo might,
turn the halo. Oh, you want a bit of halo? Yes, that might. That's right. That's a good idea. That will highlight it over the underlying green bit. That's better, isn't it?
yes. well,
Yes,
certainly
it
stands
distracts
out.
you from that underlying bit. Yes, I quite like that. Well done.
Interesting.
Yes,
Yes,
very
so
effective.
we've covered quite a lot today. I made some notes.
I think the thing for you to remember is that once you've selected the layer, the green spaces, then you're adding new features each time you want to add something. So right click and add new feature.
Right.
And anything else that we're doing today is either the style, which is changing the color and the labels and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
We use the filter to bring up just the one that you're interested in when it comes to time to print.
Yeah.
And we've also, there was something I was thinking about there. Let me just remember that. Oh, yes. You can edit anything that you've created by just clicking on the item itself, the feature, and bringing up the data column in the left-hand side. And then with the select the pencil mode to edit, and you can either change the shape, or you can change the words, or you can add new information like the date or the description, whatever you like.
Right. Okay.
So really the three things then are you need to be in edit mode to change any record, which you get to by clicking on the item, and that brings up the data record in the left. Or you need to add a new feature, which you do by right-clicking on the green spaces layer. Or you want to change the style, which you do by right-clicking on the green spaces layer. Or you want to change the filter, which you do by right-clicking on the green spaces layer.
Yeah.
So virtually everything comes from being in the green spaces layer and then adjusting accordingly.
Yeah, that's a big lesson, that I only need the one layer.
Well, in that case, I'm glad to have been of value to you today.
Oh, well, yes, I seem to have made considerable progress.
Well, John, you're very welcome to always come back for the future. You guys, Saltery has bought an annual subscription, so it means you have an overwhelming demand on my time.
Well, that's very good. Thank you. I ought to improve my knowledge and skills of this.
Well, good.
Any
I
other-
think it's a very rewarding little program.
Yes, once you've got to grips with it.
It tries to do the job of being very simple for the beginners, but being very powerful for people who've got the hang of it.
Yes, quite.
Sometimes it's not easy to separate the two.
No, for the novice, my simple-minded approach of writing steps down helps to form a pattern in the mind.
Absolutely.
If you repeat it, and then it becomes intuitive, which I don't think mine has yet. But on this general question of the neighbourhood plan, is there any other skill that, or any other feature I could use for the neighbourhood plan generally?
Oh, there are. Yes. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll send you an example of a neighbourhood plan that was created using Parish Online, and you can sort of pick up hints and tips from that.
Right.
But there's all sorts of space. Green spaces is an obvious one, but conservation areas is another. Um, uh,
Heritage sites?
who? Heritage sites. Oh, yes, absolutely. They're there in spades.
Yeah.
Do you know how to turn those on?
Unfortunately not.
Oh, well, we can do that right now because it's very quick and very easy.
Right.
Go to your left-hand side, the left-hand column, and go down a little bit to something called Historic England.
Yeah.
And click there. Go down a bit more until you get to listed buildings. And just click on that. And you'll be astonished at the effect. So you may need to zoom out a bit on your map because you can't see anything at this range. So zoom out. But look at all those green dots. Every single green dot is a listed building.
Ah,
and to find out more about each one, you just click on the dot itself.
right. I'm just looking for my place because that should be.
Okay, that's interesting. Yes, your house, your own house.
Yeah, there it is.
Perfect. So go to the left-hand column and select the one you want. So you're in the manor house?
Well, we've got several manors.
Oh, okay, well, that's very fine, John. And then there's a hyperlink there to the entry on the Historic England website, which will tell you all the details you want to know about your house.
Remarkable. I'm not seeing, oh, there it is.
Yes, so yeah, exactly. That's all you need to do.
I also had all the other green spaces. Yeah, that's it. We were at the 8th green, but it's out of date. We're number. No picture though.
No, maybe you should send one to them.
Oh, there it is.
Okay. Oh, very nice.
Yes, a bit of an out-of-date print.
On the other hand, I can see why you have a problem with the ivy.
Well, that's wisteria, and they haven't shown it in its blooming glory or how it is now. This is a very old picture.
Well, maybe you can send them a new one.
Yes, I'll try that.
There's a big sign there saying may not represent the current condition of the site. Yes.
Right.
Well, what fun.
Yes.
So yes, it's sort of not an area that's prone to flooding at all.
There are some, nothing major, but we've got the flood maps, of course.
Yes, so that's another, you can always bring the flood map into the neighborhood plan is what I'm mentioning. You're asking about neighborhood plan.
Yeah.
So flooding is a usual thing that people put in there. If you're planning on where you do want to build an industrial site or an industrial park, anything like that, that's good for that. If you've got any brownfield sites, if you've got tree preservation orders in place, all of those can be demonstrated on here. I'll send you the neighborhood plan from a local village to me, which they've just completed. And it shows you very clearly what you can do with Parish Online and how Parish Online went to make up their neighborhood plan. So I'll send you that now, John, just so that we don't lose you.
Thank you. Just looking at the map, I've got my green spaces, but superimposed are these listed buildings.
Well, only because you've got two layers turned on at once. You can always turn off the listed buildings layer. So go back to, yes, scroll to the top of that column and close it.
To do the opposite, I want to see listed buildings and not the green spaces.
Okay, so close down the listed buildings, to the X at the top. Yeah, and go down to your green spaces and turn that off. There we go.
Right, and then listed buildings.
Yes, well, it's already on the listed buildings, so just give the system time, it'll catch up for you.
Yeah. But that would be a separate layer, would it, if I wanted to?
Yes.
All that.
Yes, and again, it's very handy to filter. So you can bring up the listed buildings layer and then just filter out for anything that says Manor House, and you'll get yours as the only one, which is nice.
Well, I do need in the neighbourhood plan to show the listed buildings anyway.
Perfect. Okay.
So presumably I could have a separate map.
Indeed. Oh, yes.
called listed buildings.
Well, in the example I'm going to show you, you'll see there is literally hundreds of maps because they choose the one that meets the area itself. The usual technique is to tie your neighborhood plan in to the local plan from your local planning authority.
Yeah.
Because they will have a plan which they will say overrides yours, and then you can come back up and say, actually, our neighborhood plan is what we want. And what you try and do is show that you've taken into account what the local planning authority is planning on a large scale with their local plan, and you're going to try and tie your neighborhood plan into that.
So is there a parish online version of the local plan, or?
I'm afraid, well, that depends entirely upon your local planning authority. Do you get any outputs from your local council?
District council?
Yes.
Not as such.
If you close up all your layers on the left-hand side, so just click on, just close them up. And now let's just scroll down gently.
Well, in fact, I've done what I was seeking to do, haven't I? I've got the dots showing the.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, sorry.
That's all right. No, you're learning as we go along. What I was thinking was I was wanting to scroll down and see whether there was any layer at all from your district council. So in your layers, usually the district council, if Cambridgeshire CC is the county council.
Yeah.
So they've obviously got some stuff there. Keep going up a bit. Yes, a bit further up.
Maps.
No, yes, go further up.
Well, I've reached the bottom now.
Yes, so if you go up, I noticed there was definitely Cambridge County Council. What district are you? So if you click on the little arrow on Historic England, it will shut those layers down just so you can't see. Yes, it sort of makes the spaces neater. And then you've got Cambridge County Council data, which is worth looking at, see what they put out.
Public rights of way is about it.
That's all. That's not much, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
And what's your local district council called?
Huntingdon.
Oh, right. Huntingdon. All right.
Huntingdon Shire, yes.
Yeah. Well, my father used to be based up there at one of your Royal Air Force stations.
He was Air Force too, was he? I was for many years.
Were you? Yeah, he was really, he started off in Transport Command. He was flying Dakotas out in Burma in the Second World War. And then he moved on to Hastings and so forth. And then he switched him over to Valiance. So he became an IP in Valiance. I think had a lot of fun throwing those around. Oh, and his most favorite aircraft was the Canberra.
Yes, I flew that. Yeah.
Yes. I think he was in, was it 31 Squadron with them?
It was 13 and 39, but.
Oh, 13 and 39. Okay, I think he was 39. He went out and did the atomic bomb tests and took those pictures.
Interesting. But Valiants, of course, were all grounded very suddenly in the early 60s. They turned up at Marshall's Airfield in Cambridge.
The Canberras did?
No, the Valiants.
Oh, yes, yes. I have a vivid memory as a kid of about, I don't know, 10 maybe, going to the Valiant simulator at, probably was it at Gaydon?
Could well have been, that was Navigators.
Right, anyway, and my father was the instructor pilot, so he gave us a session on the simulator, and of course he was absolutely enchanted, and so were we when we crashed at full speed. That was marvelous. So,
no damage to the simulator though.
No damage to the simulator, but it was interesting to me as a kid. So if you lose all hydraulic pressure, how you're just utterly incapable of shifting any elevators or doing anything, basically. Particularly if you're only 10 years old, but it was just an instruction on what can go wrong.
That's interesting. You need to be very strong then to fly the Valiant if you were.
Very well, certainly stronger than a 10-year-old boy, yes. Yeah. But
like an aircraft. Sad ending though, when it was all grounded The
Well, they
aircraft.
had metal fatigue, was it?
Yes, it was exactly fatigue cracks.
Yes.
We were
But I
flying.
think that was the remarkable thing about the Vulcan, that that kept going even at low level flying,
Yeah,
which I think that they
very
tried
strong
doing the Valiant at
design.
low level, and that's what wore it out.
Yeah, very strong design.
Yes. Well, fascinating. So what did you do, John?
Um,
Obviously, you flew Canberras.
yes, vampires, hunters, Canberras.
Ooh, you're more on the fighter side.
Well, yes. In fact, I would have been happier on larger, slower aircraft, I think, looking back. But there we are. They
Well, but
put
the
the load a
Hunter
lot
was
more.
possibly one of the most gorgeous airplanes designed, to look at least.
The
The Hunter, very pretty airplane.
Yes, it was a delight to fly. When I got my hands on it, most of its vices had been engineered out.
Right.
I think we found there were 11 ways in which you could kill yourself fairly easily in a Hunter.
Ouch.
Small things, even leaving the flap down one notch, meant you couldn't pull out of a dive.
Really? Wow, that much precision needed.
Well, yes, you recovered at 0.9 Mach.
Oof.
Sounds a lot, but at high level, that wasn't very fast.
No.
But you inadvertently left a little bit of flap, because in combat, you often used flap to give you a
Right.
better turning radius.
Yes.
And then you were running short of fuel, so you think, I better get home. You had things called bingo lights.
Yes, of course.
Like amber traffic lights.
Yep.
So you had a few minutes to get your act together. And if you missed the flap, as you were recovering back to your point, you started to pull out, nothing happened. So people
I'm very disconcerting.
Yes, often see their buddy disappearing into cloud as they were leveling out, because you're often up in pairs.
Yes.
And you'd say, check your flaps. And there it was, a little lever that just needed a touch.
Right.
You could pull out. But there were some spectacular crashes. There was one at an air display where the pilot just came in and hit the ground. Crowd thought it was wonderful, but didn't realize the aircraft and the pilot were both in pieces.
Oh dear.
So there were some sad events. This is
Well, there was one quite recently, wasn't there?
Well,
was that,
we had that terrible
what, 3 or 4 years ago, maybe?
Yes, down near the school, wasn't it? And just
yes.
the name of the holiday place.
I can't remember what happened, but was that
into a loop too low and too heavy?
Oh, right.
And as he came out of the loop, he couldn't level off in time. He hadn't got much experience on the Hunter to begin with anyway, and he hit the road.
Ouch.
His cockpit broke off and he was thrown out miraculously and finished up alive.
No, really?
Andy Hill was the name, that's right.
Wow.
He killed 11 people in the process.
Oh.
But it was a terrible lack of discipline. He should
never
have done what he did. But that has changed a lot of rules about flying displays, which have made it much harder for many of my current colleagues to organize even local flying displays, just to make sure they don't have a repetition of anything like that.
Ouch.
There we are. That was a great disappointment. But anyway, these things happen with old aeroplanes.
What was your favorite airplane?
Well, the Hunter, I think, was, you just had to think, and it did it for you. Lovely rate of roll, everything under control. And if everything packed up, you could still fly at home in manual, just about. Both hands on the column to move the flying controls.
Yes.
So it was good, very good. But
right.
50 years ago, it's all changed now.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, this new F-35 is very different, isn't it? Or the Tornado.
Well, even light aircraft. On my 60th, I went to the local flying club and thought, perhaps I can revive my old PPL. And I got into this cockpit and didn't recognize half the stuff. I had more navigation aids than my Hunter.
Yes,
the only thing it didn't have was an ejection seat and 30mm cannon. Everything else. And the book of rules now runs to about 2,000 pages, whereas when I was 17, it was a little blue pamphlet of about 15 pages, which mainly told you to keep clear of airships and balloons. Are quite different.
You must have some wonderful stories to tell.
Well, there we go. Well, your father must have had some good tales too in the Valiant.
Yes, he did. But of course, in the days when he was telling those stories, we were too young to really appreciate what was going on. But yes, I think all service personnel have got stories that are fascinating, and I think it's a great shame when they get them onto television that the TV people feel that they have to vamp them up and make them even more dramatic, because I think, frankly, most of the stuff that's there is pretty exciting anyway to the casual observer. And you know, there was a big submarine program recently called Vigil, which I flatly refused to watch because I know that they always mess up the technology to the point where the people who know what's going on are really, really angry.
Well, I gave up after 2 episodes on Vigil.
Well, exactly. So I didn't watch any of them. I just knew what was going to happen. So I didn't try to save myself the fury.
Well,
anyway,
good material on BBC these days anyway.
You don't like the BBC any longer?
I watch the news, but most of their drama is either inaudible or invisible. You can't hear and you can't see the people speaking often.
Oh dear.
We've got this strange acting convention now where mumbling seems to be.
Yes. Yes.
There we go. Anyway, that's very useful. I hope I can remember that in an hour's time.
Well, John, I'll send you the video so that you can refer back to it should you wish to.
Yeah.
And it'll take an hour or two for it to process because it takes that long, but I will send it to you later today.
Well, thank you.
And I'll also send you that neighborhood plan from Martok.
Martok, right.
Yes. It's been lovely to talk to you. Great to reminisce, and I hope to see you again.
Thank you. You've been a lifesaver. So
I think that's a bit strong.
I'm optimistic.
Take care, John.
But many thanks, Graham. That's most helpful.
See you next time.
Yes, indeed.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye now.